Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video. In this video, we are going to discuss about CA Foundation Paper 1 Principles and Practice of Accounting Chapter 1 Theoritical Framework Unit 8 Accounting Standards. अगर मेरा वीडियो अच्छा लगता हो तो इस वीडियो को एक लाइक कर देना और चैनल को कर देना एक सब्सक्राइब. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. So, frankly speaking, इस चैप्टर से बहुत ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में नहीं आता है, लेकिन एक सीए स्टूडेंट होने के नाते हम लोगों को ये पता होना चाहिए अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या है और अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या होता है. We should also know about our institute's contribution to India's accountancy and also its position in the world. So, accounting standards is the chapter which gives us an introduction to the accounting standards that are present in accounting that needs to be qualified to or followed by the accountants while preparing the financial statements. So, let's start our video. And let's start our discussion. Unit 8 Accounting Standards. So, what do you understand by an accounting standard? As per accounting standard in layman term, I understand accounting standards are the standards or the concepts or the set of rules and regulations that needs to be abided by the accountants in the process of preparation and presentation of the financial statements or the books of accounts of a business firm or an enterprise. So, let us start our study materials content. Accounting standards deal with the issues of recognition of events and transactions, measurement of transactions and events, presentation of transactions and events, and the disclosure requirements. So, accounting standards deal with number 1, the recognition, number 2, the measurement, number 3, the presentation, and number 4, the disclosure requirements. Recognition of events and transactions. So, we have learned about the content or learned about this topic, event and transaction. What is the difference between an event and a transaction? Give me in the comment section below so that I am able to understand that you follow my channel. So, accounting standard deals with the recognition of events and transactions. Number 2, the measurement of transactions and events. Number 3, the presentation of transactions and events. And number 4, the disclosure requirements. Now, the formulation of accounting standards. How an accounting standard is formed or how it is formulated by our institute and our government so that it can become an accounting standard that needs to be abided by the accountants in the preparation of financial statements. Number 1, identification of area. Suppose there is any weak area which needs to be controlled or modified. The weak area should be identified at first. Identification of area. Number 2 is constitution of study group. What is the study group? Study group is a group of knowledgeable personals or a professional who has a required knowledge so that they can study or research about this area, the identified area, to understand the requirements and the shortcomings that needs to be fulfilled. Third is the preparation of draft and its circulation. This study group, after research and its study, prepares a draft on how and how the area should be modified or controlled, how the weak area inside this accounting concept should be controlled and modified. So, in that case, a draft is prepared and it is circulated among the professionals or the institute and the government. Number fourth is the ascertainment of views of different bodies on draft. On this draft, views of different bodies, for example, the government, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, the state governments, the central government, the state government, the body or the Institute of Cost and Management Accountants, everybody's view, different bodies' view is ascertained for this draft. This is the fourth step. Next, finalization of exposure draft or ED. The exposure draft, the draft that is modified after the views of different bodies has been accounted to, it is finalized. It is finalized by the institute for becoming a accounting standard. Number six point or sixth step is comments received on exposure draft. The finalized exposure draft that is modified after the views of different bodies is circulated among different members and different personals. The different personals, the study group, the knowledgeable person gives their comments on such exposure draft. The exposure draft is commented on so that various shortcomings can be corrected and various other changes can be made for a better working of the accounting standard or better functioning of the accounting standard that is the product of this exposure draft. The seventh step is modification of the exposure draft, modification of the draft. After the comments has been received, there is some modification so that the draft can become an accounting standard. After the modification, after the receiving of comments on the exposure draft, the issue of accounting standard is made. So finally, there are 8 steps involved in the preparation or formulation of an accounting standard. Number one is the identification of area, the weak area or the required area where an accounting standard is required is identified. Second is the constitution of the study group. Study group who will research about the area, who will study the processes. Such a group is created or constituted. Third is preparation of draft and its circulation. A draft is prepared by the study group and it is circulated among different members. Fourth is ascertainment of views of different bodies on draft. Ascertainment of views is done. The views of different bodies is ascertained. Finalization of exposure draft. After ascertainment of views by different bodies, an exposure draft is created. Next, the exposure draft is circulated among members to receive the comments on the exposure draft. After receiving the comments, the exposure draft is modified. Modification of the draft is made. And the final step is the issue of accounting standard, issue of AS. Now, let's start our topic, introduction of accounting standards. What is an accounting standard? Accounting as a language of business. In our Unit 1 video, in our first video, we discussed that accounting is the language of business. So, accounting as a language of business communicates the financial results of an enterprise to various stakeholders by means of financial statements. Financial statements के जरिए accounting different users से communicate करता है. इसीलिए accounting को language of business भी कहा जाता है. Accounting के द्वारा एक business अपना जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स है उनको प्रेजेंट करता है यूजर्स के पास या फिर यूजर्स के सामने. If the financial accounting process is not properly regulated, there is possibility of financial statements being misleading, tendentious, and providing a distorted picture of the business rather than the true one. If there is no proper accounting standard or the financial accounting process is not proper, the financial statements, that is the result of the accounting, can be misleading, can provide a distorted picture, can be also tendentious, distorted picture of the business. The true picture of the business cannot be portrayed by a wrong financial accounting process. But accounting is done or financial statements are made to show the true and fair view of the business to the users of the financial statements. For example, the government, the investors, the owners, the suppliers, etc. To ensure transparency, consistency, comparability, adequacy, and reliability of financial reporting, it is essential to standardize the accounting principles and policies. To ensure transparency, consistency, comparability, adequacy and reliability फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग के वजह से ये सब हो पाए, इसीलिए हम लोगों को अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स एंड अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज को स्टैंडर्डाइज करना होता है. अगर स्टैंडर्डाइज नहीं रहेगा फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग के जरिए, जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स है वो ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं रहेगा, वो कंसिस्टेंट भी नहीं रहेगा, और उसका जो कंपैरेबिलिटी है एंटरप्राइज टू एंटरप्राइज या फिर फाइनेंशियल ईयर टू फाइनेंशियल ईयर का कंपैरेबिलिटी भी नहीं रहेगा. वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एडिक्वेट भी नहीं होगा. किस तरीके से एडिक्वेट नहीं होगा? वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एडिक्वेटली ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू ऑफ द एंटरप्राइज शो नहीं करेगा. और लास्टली और मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, वो जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स है इट वुड नॉट बी रिलायबल एनफ to be trusted by the users of the financial statements. Accounting standards are written as AS, accounting standard. Accounting standards provide framework and standard accounting policies for treatment of transactions and events so that the financial statements of different enterprises become comparable. Accounting standard. What is an accounting standard? Accounting standard क्या होता है? Accounting standard are the standards of accounting which provide a framework and standard accounting policies. It provides a framework and also provides a standard accounting policy for treatment of transactions and events so that the financial statements of different enterprises become comparable. फाइनल गोल क्या है अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का? ताकि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स जो है वो कंपैरेबल हो सके. इस कंपैरेबिलिटी को अचीव करने के लिए अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड एक फ्रेमवर्क देता है और एक स्टैंडर्ड अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी को देता है या फिर सेट करता है. Accounting standards are written policy documents issued by the expert accounting body or by the government or other regulatory body covering the aspects of recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure of accounting transactions and events in the financial statements. So, this is the definition of accounting standard. What is an accounting standard? The function of accounting standard is to set or to provide a framework and standard accounting policy for the treatment of transactions and events such that the financial statements are comparable. What do you mean by accounting standard? Accounting standard are written policy documents issued by the expert accounting body. For example, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is the expert accounting body of India. So, accounting standards are written policy documents of the accounting policy that is issued by the expert accounting body, the government, or any other regulatory body covering the aspects of recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure of accounting transactions and events in financial statements. तो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या है? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड एक रिटन पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी का एक रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट होता है. उसी तरीके से अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड अकाउंटिंग के लिए एक रिटन पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसको सेट करता है. कौन सेट करता है? एक्सपर्ट अकाउंटिंग बॉडी सेट करता है, गवर्नमेंट सेट करता है, या फिर कुछ अदर रेगुलेटरी बॉडी सेट करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अदर रेगुलेटरी बॉडी से क्या मतलब? सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया, सेबी, SEBI. सेबी इज द रेगुलेटरी बॉडी फॉर इंडियन स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. सो ये अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स जो है इन तीनों इशू करता है, जो कि कवर करता है क्या? रिकॉग्निशन, मेजरमेंट, प्रेजेंटेशन एंड डिस्क्लोजर को. किसका डिस्क्लोजर या फिर किसका रिकॉग्निशन, किसका मेजरमेंट? अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड इवेंट्स का रिकॉग्निशन, मेजरमेंट, प्रेजेंटेशन एंड डिस्क्लोजर in the financial statements. The ostensible purpose of standard setting bodies is to promote the dissemination of timely and useful financial information to investors and certain other parties having an interest in the company's economic performance. What is the purpose of the standard setting body? The purpose of the standard setting body is to promote the dissemination of timely and useful financial information. The purpose of the standard setting body is to provide with a timely and useful financial information to investors and certain other parties who are interested in the company's economic performance. The accounting standards deal with the issues of what are the issues that an accounting standard deals with. An accounting standard deals with the recognition of events and transactions in the financial statements. It also deals with the measurement of transactions and events. Accounting standards also deal with the presentation of transactions and events in the financial statements in a manner that is meaningful and understandable to the reader. An accounting standard is also responsible for the disclosure requirements which should be there to enable the public at large and the stakeholders and the potential investors in particular to get an insight into what the financial statements are trying to reflect, and thereby facilitating them to take prudent and informed business decisions. So this is the final purpose, to take prudent and informed business decisions. So अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स का पर्पस क्या है? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का मेन मकसद क्या है? मेन मकसद चारों है. इवेंट्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शंस को रिकॉग्नाइज करना, इवेंट्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शंस को मेजर करना, ये जो इवेंट्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शंस है उसको एक तरीके से प्रेजेंट करना ताकि वो रीडर के लिए अंडरस्टैंडेबल भी हो, मीनिंगफुल भी हो, उसको कुछ मतलब भी बने और समझ में भी आए, ऐसे तरीके से प्रेजेंट करना. और अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स डिस्क्लोजर रिक्वायरमेंट भी देता है ताकि जो इन्वेस्टर्स है या फिर जो ओनर्स है वो प्रॉपर बिजनेस डिसीजंस ले पाए, टाइमली और प्रॉपर एक्यूरेट बिजनेस डिसीजन ले पाए. Objectives of accounting standards. The whole idea of accounting standards is centered around harmonization of accounting policies and practices followed by different business entities so that the diverse accounting practices adopted for various aspects of accounting can be standardized. अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का मेन मकसद या फिर ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का ऑब्जेक्टिव है अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज या फिर अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट्स को एक स्टैंडर्डाइज करना ताकि सभी बिजनेस एंटरप्राइज एक ही या फिर सिमिलर अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज या फिर अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट्स को यूटिलाइज करे अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में. The main or the primary objective of accounting standards is to standardize the accounting concepts or accounting principles that is utilized or used by various business entities or business enterprises in preparing their financial statements. When these accounting policies or accounting concepts are standardized, the financial statements from such standardized accounting concepts would be comparable among each other, and that is the primary objective. So, the whole objective of accounting standards is centered around harmonization of accounting policies and practices followed by different business entities so that the diverse accounting practices adopted for various aspects of accounting can be standardized. Accounting standards standardize diverse accounting policies with a view to eliminate the non-comparability of financial statements and thereby improving the reliability of financial statements. Eliminate non-comparability, improve reliability, and number 2, provide a set of standard accounting policies. Provide a set of standard accounting policies, valuation norms, and disclosure requirements. So, finally or primarily, there are 3 objectives of accounting policies. What are they? There are number 1, eliminate the non-comparability of accounting standards. Number 2 is improving the reliability of accounting standards, and number 3 is providing a set of standard accounting policies, valuation norms, and disclosure requirements. Accounting standards reduce the accounting alternatives in the preparation of financial statements within the bounds of rationality, thereby ensuring comparability of financial statements of different enterprises. Accounting standard finally क्या करता है? Accounting standard accounting जो concepts है उनको standardize करके जो comparability है उनको enhance करता है. Accounting standard reduce the accounting alternative, जो accounting के लिए जो different alternatives है उस alternatives को मिटा देता है या फिर खत्म कर देता है within the bounds of rationality and thereby ensuring comparability. मेन मकसद comparability को enhance करना या फिर ensure करना. Comparability of what? Comparability of financial statements of different enterprises. Benefits and limitations of accounting standards. Accounting standards seek to describe the accounting principles, the valuation techniques, and the methods of applying the accounting principles in the preparation and presentation of financial statements so that they may give a true and fair view. Financial statements are always prepared to give a true and fair view of the business. एक फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट प्रिपेयर किया जाता है ताकि वो बिजनेस का एक सच और फेयर व्यू दिखा पाए, एक ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू दिखा पाए. अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड seek to describe the accounting principles, the valuation techniques, and the methods of applying the applying the accounting principles, methods of applying the accounting principles in the preparation and presentation of financial statements so that it is able to give a true and fair view. By setting the accounting standards, there are following benefits. These are the benefits. What are the benefits? Number one, standards reduce to a reasonable extent or eliminate altogether confusing variations in the accounting treatments used to prepare financial statements. बहुत अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज है जो अपने आप से या फिर एक एक अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी या फिर एक अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट दूसरे अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट से क्लैश हो जाता है या फिर एग्री नहीं करता है, उसको हटा देता है एक स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी या फिर एक अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड. Standards, accounting standards reduce the to an reasonable extent or eliminate altogether confusing variations in the accounting treatments. Number two, there are certain areas where important information are not statutorily required to be disclosed. Standards may call for disclosure beyond the requirement of law. Standards may call for disclosure beyond the requirement of law. कुछ कुछ जगह पे होता है जहां पे लॉ कुछ नहीं, एक डिस्क्लोजर के बारे में एक लॉ नहीं बोलता है, लेकिन वो डिस्क्लोजर करने से उस बिजनेस का एक प्रॉपर व्यू या फिर ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू निकल आएगा या फिर दिखा पाएंगे जो अकाउंटेंट है. इसीलिए जहां पे लॉ कुछ डिस्क्लोजर के बारे में नहीं बोलता है या फिर नहीं कन्वेंस या फिर कंप्लाई करने को बोलता है, उसी जगह पे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड उस डिस्क्लोजर को एक्सपोज या फिर उस डिस्क्लोजर को देने के लिए एक एडवाइस या फिर एक ऑर्डर दे देता है. The application, number third point, the application of accounting standards would to a limited extent facilitate comparison of financial statements of companies situated in different parts of the world and also of different companies situated in the same country. So facilitate comparison. This is the gist. However, it should be noted in this respect that differences in the institutions, traditions, and legal systems from one country to another gives rise to differences in accounting standards adopted in different countries. Accounting standards may differ country to country, and that must be kept in mind while comparing inter-country business operations or inter-country business financial statements. So, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का 3 बेनिफिट क्या है? नंबर 1, कंफ्यूजिंग अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज को एलिमिनेट करना या फिर इंटर क्लैशिंग अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट्स को एलिमिनेट करना ताकि एक सिंप्लीफाइड अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी, सिंप्लीफाइड अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट को स्टैंडर्डाइज किया जाए. सेकंड है, जहां पे लॉ कुछ डिस्क्लोजर के बारे में नहीं बोलता है, वहां पे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड उस डिस्क्लोजर को मैंडेटरी कर देता है ताकि उस बिजनेस का ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू बहुत अच्छे तरीके से दिखा सके. थर्ड है, कंपैरिजन को फैसिलिटेट या फिर एनहांस करने के लिए. नाउ व्हाट आर द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स का लिमिटेशन क्या क्या है? नंबर 1, difficulties in making choice between different treatments. अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड जब एक चॉइस करने को बोलता है या फिर चॉइस करना होता है, वहां पे उस चॉइस करना डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू मेक अ चॉइस बिटवीन डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट्स. Alternative solutions to certain accounting problems may each have arguments to recommend them. Therefore, the choice between different alternatives accounting treatments may become difficult. Alternative solutions to certain accounting problems may each other have arguments to recommend them. एक अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट एक तरीके से अच्छा हो सकता है और दूसरा अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट या फिर अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी और किसी सेक्टर में या फिर और किसी फील्ड में अच्छा हो सकता है। इसीलिए एक आर्ग्यूमेंट जनरेट हो सकता है ताकि कौन से अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट को रेकमेंड किया जाए। नंबर 2, रेस्ट्रिक्टेड स्कोप। अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड को सेट कर देने से अकाउंटिंग का जो स्कोप रहता है या फिर एक नजर रहता है अकाउंटिंग का, नजरअंदाज करने का जो पावर रहता है अकाउंटिंग का, वो रेस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाता है। अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स कैन नॉट ओवरराइड द स्टैट्यूट। एक अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड एक लॉ को या फिर एक रूल बुक को, एक स्टैट्यूट को ओवरराइड या फिर उसके ऊपर नहीं जा सकता है। The standards are required to be framed within the ambit of prevailing statutes. एक स्टैट्यूट जो भी बोल देता है उसके अंदर ही अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड को फंक्शन करना पड़ता है। इसीलिए अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड जो है एक रिस्ट्रिक्टेड वे में काम करता है। प्रोसेस ऑफ फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड इन इंडिया। इंडिया में एक अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड कैसे फॉर्म होता है उसे एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए ये पूरा पैराग्राफ है। प्रोसेस ऑफ फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स इन इंडिया। द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया, being a premier accounting body in the country, took upon itself the leadership role by constituting the Accounting Standards Board (ASB) in 1977. Accounting Standard Board in 1977. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India's one sector is the Accounting Standards Board, which formulates the accounting standards in India. The ICAI has taken significant initiatives in the setting and issuing procedure of accounting standards to ensure that the standard setting process is fully consultative and transparent. The accounting standard setting process is fully consultative and transparent. The ICAI ensures that. The Accounting Standard Board considers International Financial Reporting Standards (IFRS). The Accounting Standard Board ensures or considers the International Financial Reporting Standards (IFRS) while framing Indian accounting standards. The accounting standards that is applicable within India is known as Indian Accounting Standards or IND-AS. In India and try to integrate them in the light of applicable laws, customs, usage, and business environment in the country. Accounting Standard Board IFRS इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स को रेफर करके एक इंटीग्रेटेड अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड या फिर इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड इंट्रोड्यूस करता है जो कि इंडियन बिजनेस को सपोर्ट कर सके या फिर सूट कर सके और इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस को भी सूट कर सके। The composition of Accounting Standard Board includes representative of industries. Accounting Standard Board में representative of industries, for example, ASSOCHAM, CII, that is the Competition of India, Competition Board, regulators, academians, government departments, etc. These forms the Accounting Standard Board. Although Accounting Standard Board is a body consulted by the Council of ICAI, that is the Accounting Standard Board, is independent in the formulation of accounting standards, and Council of the ICAI is not empowered to make any modification in the draft accounting standards formulated by Accounting Standard Board without consulting the Accounting Standard Board. The Accounting Standard Board might be the part of ICAI. Accounting Standard Board जो है वो ICAI का एक पार्ट हो सकता है, लेकिन Accounting Standard Board अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स को डिजाइन करने में या फिर फॉर्मुलेट करने में इंडिपेंडेंट बॉडी है। आईसीएआई भी एएसबी से कंसल्ट नहीं करके एक अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड को चेंज नहीं कर सकता है। The standard setting procedure of Accounting Standards Board can briefly be outlined as. So these are the standard setting procedure. Identification of broad areas by Accounting Standard Board for formulation of accounting standards. Number 2, constitution of study groups. Constitution of study groups by the Accounting Standard Board to consider specific projects and to prepare preliminary drafts of the proposed accounting standards. So, what is the task of the study group? It is to consider specific projects and prepare preliminary drafts of the proposed accounting standards. The draft normally includes objective and scope of the standard, definitions of the terms used in the standard, recognition and measurement principles wherever applicable, and presentation and disclosure requirements. Third is consideration of the preliminary draft. The preliminary draft that is prepared by the Accounting Standard Board is considered, prepared by the study group of ASB, and revision if any is made. The Accounting Standard Board prepares a preliminary draft that is considered by the ICAI, and revisions if required are made. Circulation of draft of accounting standard. The draft of accounting standard is circulated among different members, the council members of ICAI, and specified outside bodies such as the Department of Company Affairs, Securities and Exchange Board of India, etc. The next step is meeting with the representatives of the specified outside bodies. The representatives of the specified outside bodies hold a meeting to discuss the shortcomings or discuss the modifications that can be made to the draft accounting standard. Next is finalization of the exposure draft. The exposure draft that is discussed upon by the representatives of specified outside bodies is then finalized after giving effect to the modifications and the proposals. Next is consideration of comments received on the exposure draft and finalization of the draft accounting standard by the ASB for submission to the Council of ICAI. The comments on the exposure draft or the preliminary draft is considered, such revisions are made, the modifications are made, and then the accounting standard is drafted and is sent or submitted to the Council of ICAI for consideration and approval. Next is consideration of the final draft of proposed standard. The final draft of proposed standard is considered and a final draft is made by the Council of ICAI. And also modifications if found is made. The accounting standard on the relevant subject for non-corporate affairs is then issued by the ICAI. After all modifications are done, after all changes are done, all comments are taken into account, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India issues an accounting standard which affects the accounting of the enterprises that works within India. Now, the list of accounting standards in India. So, in our CA intermediate examinations, we will study this topic or the accounting standards in India in detail. But here is a list of accounting standards that is applicable within our Indian territory. यहाँ पे एक लिस्ट दिया गया है अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स का जो कि इंडियन कंटिनेंट में या इंडियन सब कंटिनेंट में एप्लीकेबल है, लेकिन ये जो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स है ये इंटरमीडिएट में एक डिटेल्ड चैप्टर है जहां पे हम लोगों को पढ़ना पड़ेगा क्या एक अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का क्या क्या डेफिनेशन या फिर क्या क्या कंटेंट है. The accounting standards issued by the Accounting Standards Board establish standards which have to be complied by the business entities so that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स को GAAP से कंप्लाई कराने के लिए अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स को फॉलो करना जरूरी हो जाता है. किसके लिए? बिजनेसेस के लिए जो कि अपना फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाता है. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं. द लिस्ट ऑफ अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स दैट इज एप्लीकेबल इन इंडिया. AS1, that is the disclosure of accounting policies. AS2, valuation of inventories. AS3, cash flow statements. For your information, cash flow statements is mandatorily prepared by the companies in India. AS4, contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date. AS5, net profit or loss for the period, prior period items and changes in the accounting policies. AS6, depreciation accounting. AS7, accounting for construction contracts. AS8, accounting for research and development. AS9, revenue recognition. AS10, property, plant and equipment, PPE. In short, we call this PPE. PPE deals with the assets of an enterprise. The assets of an enterprise, that is property, plant and equipment. The fixed assets of an enterprise is looked upon under this AS10. AS11, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rate. The effects of changes in foreign exchange rate. AS12, accounting for government grants. So governments give some grants to business and other business enterprises to support them. Such government grants are accounted in the accounting statements or financial statements. That is done as per Accounting Standard 12. AS13, accounting for investments. AS14, accounting for amalgamation. When two companies come together and form one single company, that is called as amalgamation. जब दोनों कंपनी एक साथ आके एक कंपनी बन जाता है और वो एक कंपनी अपने बिजनेस को कंटिन्यू करता है, उस प्रोसेस को हम लोग amalgamation कहते हैं. AS15, एम्प्लॉय बेनिफिट्स. एक बिजनेस फर्म अपने एम्प्लॉयज को जो भी बेनिफिट्स देता है वो AS15 के अंदर आता है. AS16, बोरोइंग कॉस्ट्स. जब भी एक बिजनेस एंटिटी या फिर एक एंटरप्राइज लोन लेता है या फिर मनी बोरो करता है, उसका अकाउंटिंग AS16 के अकॉर्डिंग होता है. AS16 describes the method for accounting for loans and borrowings done by a business enterprise. AS17, segment reporting. AS18, related party disclosures. AS19, leases. AS20, earnings per share. AS21, consolidated financial statements. When a company has various branches or various other business areas, all the financial statements of different businesses are put together in a financial statement that is known as a consolidated financial statement. AS12, accounting for taxes on income. That is, it is related to direct taxation or income tax on companies and business entities. AS23, accounting for investments in associates in consolidated financial statements. AS24, discontinuing operations. AS25 Interim Financial Reporting. AS26 Intangible Assets. What is an intangible asset? An intangible asset is an asset which cannot be touched or felt but has its existence in the financial statements. For example, goodwill, patents, trademarks, etc. AS27 Financial Reporting of Interest in Joint Ventures. When two or more business firms or enterprises come together to perform a single business task or or to do a single business or business opportunity is utilized jointly, it is known as a joint venture. AS28 Impairment of Assets. AS29 Provisions, Contingent Liabilities and Contingent Assets. So, what is a provision? What is a contingent liability? And what is a contingent asset? You are going to discuss with me in the comment section. So, I am sure that you have seen my previous videos and I am sure that you know these important topics. So, we have come to the end of this chapter or end of this unit. If you like this video, please give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching and thank you for being together. Stay safe, stay healthy and keep studying.